All right, we got a decked out Stryker 655 today. This one's done for Juice on the west side. Great big old station out there in California. Puts a big heavy hammer down on channel 6. And we set this one up pretty much like Prime. You know, they were kind of sending their radios in Prime actually bought 2 radios. And then Juice was talking about sending his in before and then ended up sending it after. So his got done a little later, but this one's done pretty much the same way as I did the last 2 radios on the other video for Prime Minister. So it's very heavily modified, got all the options in it. Just about everything I offer, with the exception of like a variable tone control and the 5-band EQ, but because we are externally processing again. So you don't need an internal EQ when you're doing that. You just need to open up all the limitations internally and expand them. You know, I still use certain ways throughout the audio chain to give it more energy focus in the right directions instead of just thin, spread, and wide. But yeah, anyway, it's all done. I'm going to go ahead and cut this mic gain up. That's where I run the mic gain when it is processed. I'll run the peak and the average all the way up. And for craps and giggles, we'll run the carrier all the way up. He needed a very, very high carrier because of his, I don't want to put out his business, but because of what he's running into for his first boxing line, he needs a lot of DC from the radio. So, of course, so we gave a lot of carrier to give enough headroom to make sure he can, the radio can do what it needs to do to make a station do what it needs to do. Anyway, so this is a decked out, heavily modified Stryker 655. The echo board is upgraded and it is done out the face. I've got it set perfect right now. It's about 11:30 on the small control, and then about call it 8 o'clock, 7:30, something like that on the back control down here, 8 o'clock, something like that. We have Hifi Transmit done. We have Hifi Receive. We have an upgraded echo board, which is out the face. We have the upgraded finals done to the radio. We have what else we have? We got the MP. I'll just start talking about some of the controls on the side. We've got variable peak control here. We've got variable average, so we got control of everything to do with the radio. And it also has the factory variable power control in the face. We have a lot of added options. I know it'd be very difficult to see these, but I did make a label for you down here, Juice, that you really just can't see because I got 500 wires down here with everything hooked up. But basically, starting off the far right-hand side, you can see the red wire coming out. That's an external keyer, so that will be for when you're externally processing. You have to have a keyer because you're going through the interface and it can't get TX through that. So the external keyer is there. The next one over is the external S meter. I've got this hooked up just as this display. This will only work on RX on the 955, 655 chassis, not on TX. I've got my headphone jack unplugged so it doesn't like feedback through my monitor whenever we do the test of the output. We have the MP3 with line level recording. That will be what I plug into. And then we have the monitor, which is over here to the left. That one will go back to the external speaker. So far left hand side, this is your monitor connection. It is labeled as monitor down there as well. So monitor connection, this goes to the external speaker jack on the monitor, which in this case is going to be my monitor radio down here. The next connection over, just to go over it again, is the MP3. That is what you'll use with your phone for recording, and it will record this radio, receive, line level, and it will record your monitor's radio, receive of your voice, line level as well. Then the next cord over, this is the headphone jack. It's a stereo hookup, so it comes out of both ears without having to have some kind of adapter. Also, it wires to a relay, so that way when you're receiving, you listen with the headphones on here, and you hear everybody coming in stereo. And then when you transmit, you will listen to yourself on the monitor radio without having to change headphones or have a speaker that squeals or anything like that. So one pair of headphones does your receive, and also your listening of your transmit over another receiver, all in that little connection there. Then one more time, this is the S meter down here on the bottom, and then the keyer down here on the right. So that gives all the options there. It's possible I could be forgetting about one of the internal options, but we got the full tune, upgraded finals, upgraded echo with mods, done out the face, variable peak here, variable average here, and then all the options out the back. I think that's everything. All right, so sorry for all the rambling. We'll get on with it and go ahead and do a test. Again, this thing is keying very high because he needed the extra carrier, so I will demonstrate where that keys to here. I'm just going to throw a dead key. We're on a 200 watt scale, reading the top scale. We're keying at 28 watts. It's a 100 watt slug here, and we are keying 29 watts there on the 100 watt slug, and then shows 30 watts on the LP. All right, so anyway, we're going to modulate here, and we're modulating to just over 130 watts. I got our spectral purity on the spectrum analyzer. Everything is good there. We're at a 100 watt slug here. We're reading the bottom scale. This is average output, not peak, and we are modulating to 70 watts bird average. We'll look at it on the bigger slug. It'll probably read more. It's reading like 80 on the larger slug, so we'll put it in peak here. And we're reading the top scale because the 250 watt slug, top scale up here. And we are modulating to 145 peak there. Look at our LP, and we're modulating to 149 there. And then back to the spectrum analyzer, everything is good there. All right, so that's a good example of output, but actually let's go a step further. We'll go ahead and go all the way down and show some of the versatility of this radio. Cut this peak all the way down, and then cut the average all the way down. So average is all the way down, peak's all the way down, mic gain's all the way up, carrier is all the way down. So we'll go ahead and check it here and see what we have. We can now key as little as half a watt, and we can modulate to as little as 18 watts. So it can drop all the way down to 18 watts PEP and key half a watt, you know. So that way, in case he has to put an in-between pre-driver to get where he needs to go, he'll have everything he needs. All right, so there gives a good example of what the radio is putting out and how it's doing. I'll go ahead and say maybe put the carrier somewhere around, I don't know, 17, 18 watts. It's like 19 or so, so we'll back it down like 17 would be good. All right, that's fine. And I'm gonna cut the mic gain back to about 1230 or so. That should be pretty close. It might go to 12. I'm gonna plug in my headphone jack now. I'm going to unplug my RF generator there. All right, and then now I have the plug-in coming from the interface. So I'm running through the processing, and I'm going to use one of my modified 878 microphones. This is one I've had laying around forever. This one had like just a tiny bit higher frequency response, so not as bassy as some that I modify. So I left it. It's been here for a couple years. I even had to stick a little piece of something in here just to get it to lock. So it's old, wore out, whatever. It's just what I got laying around. I could plug in to, you know, to test and give an example of what it sounds like. But yeah, somewhere around 12 o'clock on the mic gain. You can start there. You may need a little bit more gain for, you're using an RE20, I think, like Prime. So you may end up needing more gain than here. As a reference here, I don't know if you use an inbox or something different, but my mix and my monitor there is all the way wide open for the output. And then I'm all the way down for the input. So it's bottomed out completely on the input for the coming from the microphone, and then maxed out for the output coming from the inbox, to give as much control for the processing as possible. And anyway, we'll check it out. So let me get this headphone in my ear, and I'll have to plug into the line level after that. Try not to forget anything. It's easy to do with everything to plug in. Hopefully between this video and Prime's video and the other videos I've done with the monitors, it'll give both of y'all some examples of how this stuff hooks up. And I got labels and stuff too. And I'll try to put some label on your wiring, and I'm using your wiring for this test, which I have not tested with your wiring, so I guess this will be a good test for both of us. Make sure it works. All right, so here's my headphones. I'm plugged in here and make sure I can hear my receive. I can. I'm going to plug into the line level here.
All right, I don't know if this is going to be the ideal mic setting here, microphone gain setting to mic gain, but I am sitting at just a hair above 12 o'clock. I've got a derail modified Stryker 655 right here, and I've got a derail modified 878 bass microphone, and we're running it through just a little bit of processing here. Nothing major, just a few different things. And we got 3 or 4 in line, just like I did the other day. And I haven't even made any changes to it. Matter of fact, I just kind of plugged and played and did not make any changes from what I tested the other day. And it worked for this 655 as well as it did for the 447 and the 955. But anyway, this radio is done for Juice on the west side. And I hope you like it, Juice. I hope you enjoy the radio. I don't have no link. I'm trying to pull it over here, but you can see that 140-something watts doing a real good job on this end. Everything doing just like it should. Have a 1-2 breaker. Checking it out with this mic. An 878 bass microphone. And just letting you hear what it sounds like. I didn't display the external S meter, so I may flip over and show that. But anyway, just checking it out, making sure it's doing a good job, and showing everything is working like it should. Juice, take care. Derail easing on out.
All right, Juice, I'm gonna flip over to my bench here real quick, and we'll see if I got anything for skip. Now you can see the signal come up a little bit. Oh, we ain't got no skip. It's quiet out here. Real quiet. There's 281. Alright, maybe we'll go to 19. Try my luck, see if I can get a check on 19. And I'll go ahead and plug back into the line level. And I gotta put my headphones back on my head. Sorry, I'm making this video kind of long, but this won't hurt to show it all working like you're gonna use it at your house. Letting you hear the receive come in and also your transmit over there. I'm gonna plug back into my line level. Sorry if I'm yelling, I got my headphones in. All right.
Somebody, me a radio check.
Loud and clear, driver.
Yeah, Raj, on the loud and clear. Yeah, just checking out this Stryker 655. Does it sound like I need to do anything else to it, or just leave it alone?
Now you good?
Raj, on the good. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I just got through going through this thing. Just want to make sure it's all right and ready to go before I put it back together. Appreciate that radio check out there.
Well, I guess that guy's gonna say nothing. Anyway, take care, Juice. I know this was not the greatest example of receiver, you know, checking with a driver out there. Not a whole lot going on either. Thanks, Juice. Hope you enjoy the radio. Appreciate the business.